To every single person backing me on Patreon, you are the heartbeat of this journey. Your belief in what I do transforms simple ideas into the content you see here. And it is the reason I can dedicate every day to this mission. It is more than just support. It is the fuel that keeps this creative fire burning and allows me to show up for you full time. If you feel called to help build the future of this podcast, scan the QR code on your screen and join our community. A very special thank you goes out to Jamar Meeks, Elena Sosadeco, Kay Fernandez, Lucius Lau, Jackson Frazier, Munya Chisonweek, Mark Estrada, Shahira Menrina, Isabella Maria Mengat, Avish Kumar, Knight Tis Koyama, Gabriel Diaz, Lorena Giselle Garcia, Martin Cabrera Pavez, Diego Navarro Lunares, Rodolfo Fernandez, Taylor Hunter, Allison Stalker, Cal Tourette, An Tree, Savannah Wolford, Joshua Wald, Roddick J. Debecca, Linda Gabriela Peña Avalos, IPEC Soret. Thank you all so much for supporting me on Patreon. All right, and welcome to the ADC Podcast. I'm your host, Andres Alvarez, and today we have an amazing guest, Mr. Max Ali. Hopefully I pronounced your name correctly.
You did.
All right, we're off to a good start. I like that. Oh, man. So the last time we had a chance to speak, you're actually part of my storyboarding program, the storyboarding for streaming, like way back in the day. I want to say, was it like 2019 or 2020 or maybe even further back from that? But
yeah, I think it was somewhere around, maybe 2018 or 2019. I think that sounds about right. I think the spring. What's that? I don't remember. Yeah, but that year sounds right.
I feel like you were working on VeggieTales already, or you were like doing freelance for VeggieTales at that point.
Oh yeah, it probably would have been 2019 then.
Yeah.
It was definitely pre-pandemic. Yeah.
Yeah, because I was like, oh yeah, like, well, you're kind of already boarding. Like, what is it you want to do? And I think it was just very exciting to know that, like, when we were in the class together, I think you're doing, some, because, back then, now the program's changed a lot. Now the program's all about just developing an original storyboard, which, again, will bring me to another piece that I truly love from your portfolio. But, at the time, I think it was more based on like doing a studio test and like getting some material and that sort of thing. But I thought it was really great when I saw, I think it was a gingerbread / Santa Claus-esque project that you had done. I'm trying to remember the name of it right now. The name is like escaping me.
It was called Cookie Crash.
Cookie Crash.
Yeah, my friend's Louis, must have been 2023 now. It feels so long ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, we just did that for fun over the year.
Oh my gosh, that one was so great. I just love the timing in it too. I mean, of course the drawing was superb, but I love just the way you were like doing your edits and all these like little nuances that I thought were just so much fun to watch. And
that was a lot of Louis too. He was an editor or anime editor, I think, at the time. And so he really, it's funny because once you like storyboard yourself, or like you storyboard yourself, and then you put it in, you give it to somebody that's like a professional editor and stuff, and you're like, oh man, it pops so much more like effectively than you could ever do, and you add music, and it's like, it comes alive.
It's really fun one to do. You're probably like me. I think like we both came up in an era where like being a storyboard artist was like, okay, like it's about the drawing, it's about like camera work, it's about like all these like actual filmmaking, things. And then suddenly, Storyboard Pro comes along, and now it's like there's such a editing component now where you can actually like create, your animatics. For those of you who don't know, an animatic is basically almost like a pre-cartoon, um, sort of like an early version of the cartoon with music, sound effects, scratch audio. I mean, you can pretty much like roughly kind of like make and almost time out a full episode of a cartoon. And I feel like that kind of changed a lot of things. That kind of really like made our jobs kind of a little more intensive. I mean, how did you feel when things started kind of going in that direction, or had you always been doing animatics since you started?
I guess I kind of always was. Yeah, because I graduated in 2015 in college, so yeah, I was already, I guess, to that stage in that regard. But yeah, it's definitely like added like a lot more like almost responsibility in a way.
Mm-hmm.
Like I guess what the studios have kind of wanted for you, which is interesting. Actually, it always kind of varies too, because sometimes some places or some workplaces will want you to really animate or edit everything and really have like a finish like animatic, and other places will hand it off like the animatic editors to do that work. So I think it does in the long run when you're working on your own stuff, it will help you because you can at least like kind of figure out the pacing.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're on like a deadline, it's definitely a lot harder to like catch up to that, be able to do like that and the dialogue and like the timing and stuff, and then see if it's even right in the end too. But then sometimes you pass it along, they'll probably like speed it up or slow it down or something.
Right, right.
Until you see the end result. But yeah, for sure, it's definitely interesting like that. But I always love like looking back at the storyboards, like the aughts or whatnot. It just all just has little thumbnails and a yellow post-it notes over it and like directions. It's like very simple back then.
Mm-hmm.
Just set like full time, and now it's you have like full attention on it now. It's like you have to kind of do everything or expected to do everything. So it's definitely changed. But I guess you adapt to it. I don't know.
Yeah, like
it has its pros and cons.
I feel like I was the last generation to like actually like be right at the end of paper and post-it notes. And if you guys don't realize, post-it notes were like layers in Photoshop. I mean, that's how you would actually like build upon a shot or build upon something or give notes. It was just always done on physical paper. And these post-it notes, we actually used to have them shipped to us from the Post-it company, and we had ones that were like specially cut. We had ones that were also white, because usually they come yellow and different colors, whatever. But ours were like white and kind of like pretty see-through, so you can like put a Post-it on, and actually kind of flip it a little bit. It was weird. Like a lot of us like ended up actually like doing a lot of lighting on our boards, which you really didn't have to do, but I mean it was just one of those things where like we were using color erase pencils and inking. You were dirty when you came home after the doing a full day's work. Your hands were just like covered with just like gunk, and you could smell the pencil shavings, and like coming into the the modern era, that just all of a sudden just stopped. Like there was no anything. It was just like completely sterile, like walking into like a freaking Best Buy or something, and it's just like there's just like nothing. It's just all computers and digital, and God bless it though. I mean, like it took me, I want to say, the better part of 2 weeks to train myself to draw digitally. Like I had went from like 0 to like, okay, this is going to be the difference between you not working and, going on the unemployment line. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I guess I'm going to have to do this. I'm going to really have to like push myself to learn how to draw digitally. Was that weird for you? Or I.
Oh, sorry. No, I mean, no. Really, yeah. I feel like you learning in 2 weeks is super fast compared to like other people.
Thank you.
I still always like drawing or whatever. Anything I draw on like a yellow legal notepad is always like better than anything else I can possibly draw. but no, I remember it must have been I remember like, 10 years ago I had one of the Cintiq book, the touch or not. I don't know if it's the touch one.
Yes.
It was a medium one, so it was like that big. But you had a screen
Yes.
on it, so it was all just you were looking at this one you weren't drawing, and that was like weird. And that's like a
The
long time
bamboo,
ago.
I think is what it was called.
Yeah,
The
the
bamboo. It
and it
was,
was good, but it was like it was weird, like
oh,
this weird like correlation. You have to like I don't know, it's hard to do now. I think about
it's like driving like with your eyes closed or driving like, with your feet or
it. Yeah,
something. And you're
yeah,
like, all my coordination, all of like my, understanding of how to like relate to the page is completely wrapped up in like me looking directly at the target. So when suddenly there's no target to look at and you're just like this and your hand is doing whatever. I remember that was like the worst feeling, and I said, "This is never going to work for me. I'm never going to be able to do this. Like, I'm just going to be like working comics or something." And then suddenly I started seeing this like revolution with HP computers, and they started creating like these this line of touch smart or touch something. I'm trying to remember the name now, but we're talking like 2008, 2009-ish. And, they were pretty like, they were pretty, like Stone Age, compared to what you have now. But for me at the time, I could afford one of these laptops that you could draw on versus like a brand new, Wacom Cintiq, which, was in the thousands of dollars, which
yeah. It was so expensive.
it's like
They still are, yeah.
you could get a small car or something, a small down payment for a car, with some of these. And believe me, worth every penny. The Cintiq brand has been, part of my career for, pretty much the beginning of doing anything digital. I know there's a few new companies too. One called like X Pen or like a few Korean Horion or a few other like companies that are doing it now too. I've never really.
Yeah.
Have you ever explored anything on the iPad? I don't know if you've ever like drawn or used your iPad as a
Yeah.
Cintiq, but
I never did. I did. Oh yeah, there was like that. There's the pairing thing was called like Rocket or something. I don't know if that was it.
there's
But
one, yeah,
oh
Luna,
yeah, I was thinking like
Luna.
Luna.
That's another one I've experimented with. It's you have to be plugged in. If you're not plugged in, it'll connect via Wi-Fi, but it'll basically just like take any like Mac you have and cast it right onto your. It doesn't really help because I have an iPad that actually has a button on it, so that doesn't really help in terms of like the fastest kind of experience. But it's very interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Apple Pencil too is just a little bit of a thing that I got to get used to the weight because the Cintiq pens are so light. Um,
Yeah, and they're kind of you gotta get like a little like a little thing on the pencil, yeah, the
right.
gripper or the grip thing,
I
so it doesn't go flying off. Yeah, it is
Yeah,
weird. Transitioning between that's strange.
yeah. It definitely. I just feel like again, like your generation and mine have seen so much change, especially in the industry itself. I mean, the industry has. I want to say you and me were privileged enough to be sort of in the golden age when work was just being booked everywhere, and getting a studio gig was just sort of like a normal thing, like, hey, I
Yeah,
guess
yeah, yeah.
I'm
And
on my
Netflix was
next.
offering everyone a
Right.
contract and everything.
To like
Yeah,
things sort of like quickly evolving into like a totally new landscape, which I guess can be pretty scary, and can be pretty pretty interesting in terms of like, well, people still like cartoons, people still like to be entertained. I guess it's just sort of like how long we can keep people's attention span with, you're walking around with basically your mini computer in your pocket, and you have access to so much entertainment. Can you really sit down and spend an hour or a half hour watching a full episode of something? I found myself personally doing things that are like, a minute to 30 seconds. And even that feels long now. I'm like, oh man, I got to make this quicker. I got to have like, just something that I can put out fast. But
that's interesting. Yeah, You gotta wait like the attention span on like Instagram or something, or a video is like 8 seconds tops or something. You have to get people's attention within that
Hmm.
time frame, otherwise yeah, they're just gone.
Yeah, I think
Because
that's.
yeah, I mean, kind of myself too. It's weird. Yeah, our brains have really evolved. I don't know.
Well, there's a
Yeah.
term now, right? Do they call it brain rot, or is that just the terminology of
Oh yeah,
using internet sort of slang? I forget which one it
yeah. It's
is, but
interchangeable.
right.
Yeah. Well, that's funny because they had that. Was it Quibi that they tried to make like during the pandemic? Like it was like quick videos, and it never caught on, and then it went disappeared, and then like TikTok like did it, but did it I guess better or something, and it caught on. It's like the same
Hmm.
or similar thing. Yeah, yeah. You really got it. It's funny. I'll see people. I saw something yesterday. I think actually that was someone talking or doing their own thing on Instagram, and they were storyboarding, but they were storyboarding vertically as opposed to like the horizontal setting. So
Oh,
they make it
whoa,
just for mobile, and I'm like, it's
whoa!
weird. I'm like, it's so much less space to play with. But I guess it makes sense if you're making it only
Like a four
for
by
your phone.
three, like going to like a
Yeah, it's like yeah, I don't know. Yeah,
super tight, like just you know.
yeah, it's weird. You have a lot of space. You gotta stack people vertically or something.
But if you think about it, like it's kind of exciting to like limit yourself sometimes where you're like, we have these super wide. There's even a thing now. I post this podcast on YouTube, and now when I post, it's like, oh, is your content ultra wide? And I'm just like, wait, what happened to like, the 16 by 9? That's small now. That's not even like the full like size of stuff now. Like now, like especially on your phone, if you look at a lot of YouTube videos, there's like two like kind of like dark gray areas,
Mm-hmm.
and it's like because they want even wider content now, which
Oh, that's what's super well.
yeah, my unfortunately my computer doesn't allow me to go that hardcore with it, but hopefully in the next few months I'll get like a Kickstarter or something, and get some a
We
decent
can do podcasts now, and after a while, I can see everything.
uh,
Change the game.
it's funny because again, like this whole thing started pure audio, and people were like, when can we see the video version of this? Like I think they're so used to kind of like the Joe Rogan, or maybe it's the bald head, reminds them of Joe Rogan or something. But like people like to
Oh
watch
no.
a lot of their stuff. They like to watch their audio, if that makes sense or not. But yeah, it's
It's interesting. Yeah, I think it's kind of like those sports shows they have that like on cable. So they broadcast on cable now or on like the streamers you can watch the radio shows that you normally listen to on the radio, which is kind of weird, but I kind of get it. I don't know. It's just something about seeing people's reactions.
Oh, absolutely. I'll tell you what, reactions. Now that I live in Texas, I don't know if I had told you that too. Like we,
Oh yeah, I didn't know you moved. That's cool. When did you move?
yeah, like around 2023.
Oh,
My wife and I were expecting our first baby, my daughter, and we're like, this is kind of like for me around the time things were like kind of getting a little slow work wise. So she's like, maybe we should just go for it, because we'd been going to North Texas, kind of like by Dallas, visiting her mom, and then I have a bunch of family that moved with Toyota, the headquarters. So like we both had family here, and I don't know, we just kind of felt like we just want to try something new and just explore, like and believe me,
yeah, for sure. Yeah.
where we live, it's so like country, and there's like farms and like nothing I would like ever like think I would be living next to.
Yeah.
Which is just an endless sky. I mean, the skies here are just massive because there's no like big buildings or anything, at least where we live. So it's just pure sky as far as the eye can see. Um, and surprisingly, I've run into like maybe like 4 or 5 people from the industry who live out here as well. Uh,
Oh wow, really? You
yeah,
also moved?
who also moved out here. Yeah, it was
That's so
just
fun.
it was so weird. I'm thinking I'm like the only person out here, just floating in the ocean alone. And suddenly, boom, people just start popping up. Like, oh my gosh. So yeah, I've had lunch with a few people who are out here, and I get together with a few people, sort of like on a monthly basis. We'll all get together and do some drawing or just hang out. Um,
That's so cool. Are they all working remotely then? Is that or there are
yeah,
some studios in Texas that
a lot of them are
you know?
teaching. A lot of them are doing like teaching for
Oh,
like universities out here. A lot of them are doing like freelance, doing comics.
oh, cool.
Yeah, like everyone's kind of like landed in different sort of like areas of creativity. Um, but everyone's diversifying right now. Like I think that's the big thing. Everyone's trying something like they've never done before and sort of using this time to allow it to be sort of, oh, let me give this a shot. And for me it's the podcast. I would never in a million years think I would do something like this, but
Oh, it's cool. Yeah, what episode number are you on as of now?
you're gonna be number 14. So I finished
Oh, that's really okay.
13 last about 2 weeks ago. So you're like lucky number 14. um
Awesome.
and again, it was all because of LinkedIn. I was
Mm,
a lot of like 20 something people graduating from college were all messaging me and saying, hey, like, can you give us advice? Can you look at my portfolio? Can you just kind of tell me about uh, sort of the good old days of like, what it was like getting your first job. Like, so I kept like retelling
yeah,
stories over and over, and I just kept saying to them, man, if I could just like, if you could just meet the people that I know in the industry, you would love like cartoons so much more because the people, in my opinion, are so much more than just the work they do. And
yeah,
you know what I mean? I mean, like,
yeah.
in your experience working in the industry, like what was that like? So you had gone from doing VeggieTales, which is amazing stuff too, by the way, like working with characters without like I think even arms and
Oh, it's so
appendages.
weird.
you
So
know,
weird.
you're almost
It's
taking
fun though.
the
Yeah.
flour sack method to the full extreme. Um, but you had landed an incredible gig on the Loud House, which a hit show. I mean, it's everywhere right now. It's absolutely like killing it. What was that like? Kind of making the transition into sort of the big time Nickelodeon. Uh,
The big leagues of
yeah.
Nickelodeon. No, I mean, yeah, yeah, I think it was fun because the VeggieTales stuff was still like a big studio and stuff. Where it was pretty relatively new and they're trying to reboot it and stuff. It was really fun. There was a good group of people there, and it was really fun to just do like a lot of squash and stretch, very silly slapsticky stuff, which actually translated well for a lot of house stuff. But yeah, no, yeah, actually, it came about probably because everyone was getting offers for Netflix around like 2020 or so, like right before the pandemic. So people were like leaving in droves, and Netflix was sucking all the employees away. And and so there, yeah, there was a couple openings there, but it was really fun. Yeah, I remember I had a friend there who I had befriended before moving out, and he kind of helped get my name in there and stuff. And but it was interesting. It was during the pandemic, so I remember I think I did a testing like it was my third time testing for the show too, so it was a while, like
mm.
a long time, but a long process. But yeah, it was right. I remember I applied. I think it was in May of 2020. So like stuff had already like shut down, but it was still that weird time frame. Or no,
Yeah.
in April, sorry, April of 2020. And then so it took like a month or so to hear anything from them because everyone's kind of like doing that awkward shift of like, what is this?
Yeah.
How do
Like,
we work from home? Like, what is this? It was just like so new and chaotic.
can I ask you this? Not
Yeah.
to cut you off, but like,
Oh yeah,
you've been doing stuff at home for years. I feel like I was too. I think we've all invested in like home equipment. So when the
yeah,
pandemic hit, did it feel like, oh, well, I've sort of been doing this already? Or did it, yeah, I mean, like, I feel like all of us had kind of already invested in ourselves or had been, having ancillary studios in our homes for a number of
yeah.
years. Like, was that something you had as well?
No, for sure. I think so. Yeah, because I didn't. I was doing free. I was doing freelance for the VeggieTale folks for like almost a year or so, and that was all just from from my studio or studio. I say we don't use it anymore. Um, But yeah, it didn't seem too different. Yeah, because my dad also he illustrates children's books, so he was always working from home. So it always seemed
Oh,
normal to kind
wow.
of have some sort of like studio setup there and whatnot. But yeah, it wasn't. I remember going in though with the day when they like allowed everyone to go, or everyone in quotes, meaning like everyone to go in like early 2021 to Nick and stuff, just to like be in the studio and stuff. Because I never really had experience the studio setting as much. So I was like, oh, this will be great to go in there and like a ghost town, like no one
Oh,
around because it was still like early like
oh.
2019 and stuff. So it was strange. No one was really. We're still
So
rightfully
were
so
you
worried about it.
so you
But
were masked up and
yeah, I
everything
was
and
massively, but no one was there too. So it was kind of funny. So I was in like a little room by myself. And I was like, oh, this is necessary. But yeah, but then once like stuff started opening up a little bit more later that year in 2022, and then like yeah, once people started coming back, it's just like such a nice like working from home is nice because you can have like your own kind of like setup and everything. But then like also going into studios just like a nice change of pace and just being able to talk to
yeah.
people, like bounce ideas off people, just like really nice. And the Outhouse crew was like a really solid super sweet team of people who were super friendly and talkative and just like fun to be around all the time. So that was always a really good driving force to go in. But if you like want to, have time to yourself or take a break or work from home for a day, then
Hmm.
it's nice to have that option too. Just
Did they have you
do
guys
whatever you want, really.
on the actual like Nickelodeon lot, or you like in another like satellite studio? Like how did
No,
that
yeah,
work?
yeah. We were on the second floor. Yeah, of that new building we built, or new one, almost 10 years. But building, yeah, second floor, which was good, yeah, because when there was like others, yeah, there were a couple other shows on that floor, so it was fun to be there. It was before kind of like all that merger stuff kind of dampened that studio environment. Yeah, it was really fun. They had a bunch of like just studio environment in terms of like classes and just like movie screenings and stuff and just like events on campus, meeting other people, and that was really cool. So they did a really good job of that. That was really fun
It's like
to watch.
a
It's like
community at that point. Like
it really is, yeah,
you're a community of other artists, other people, like not just people who draw. I mean, people who do voice work, people who do, you know, um,
yeah,
like
exactly, yeah,
every type of creative job you can think of. And I remember there was like a few like film festivals that they had at Nickelodeon, um, that just like sort of parties, and I mean it was just so incredible to see, like just to be a part of again that community in a studio. Like there's no way to really like replace that feeling you have knowing like wow, like I've landed, I am somewhere, and sliding your key card to go in. And I don't know
that does feel cool. Yeah,
if
a little ping as it snaps back on
you
your little
you you had mentioned
clock.
your dad illustrates children's books. That was going to be one of my questions too. Um, so basically, you come from already a family of people who draw. Was it just your dad, or did your mom draw too, or siblings?
No, it was just my dad who was the illustrator. Yeah, he did a couple. My mom did write a couple of books with him, or graphic novel type books in probably 2008 or so, around that, which were really fun. So they like compromised or not compromised. They came together and worked together on a couple of books. So yeah, so she's a really good writer too. That was the only thing she did with my dad per se, but she's a really good storyteller. My dad's a really good storyteller, and
Wow.
my sister never really got too in deep with that. She was more on like theatrics and acting and singing and stuff. So she still had that, I guess that storytelling bug in that way. But she was more like look at me, hiding behind the shadows behind the computer screen, which was much better suited.
Yeah, I think like talent shows up in just so many different ways. I hate to always use that word talent because it takes away from the tremendous amount of hard work that I know you put into your work, and the dedication that you put into like everything you do. So basically, growing up, working as a professional artist was not something that was like frowned upon in your family, being that your dad was doing it as a living and as a career. Did he ever have to like do other stuff to kind of Like if it was ever like slow for him, like did he ever have to do other type of work, or did he ever like say, hey, like, yeah, you can do this, but also have maybe like a little bit of a backup or something, or was it just like, hey, like go for it, just have a good time and knock him dead?
I mean, I think it was kind of yeah. I mean, they're always very supportive, which is good. Yeah, so they knew, but I think they're also kind of weary because that makes a lot of money.
Elevate your visual storytelling with my transformative 6-week online course, Storyboarding for Streaming. Whether you're an aspiring artist or a seasoned professional, I provide expert instruction through Zoom on essential techniques including thumbnailing, composition, and cleanup. Join me and a vibrant community of creators from the comfort of your own home to master the skills needed for the competitive world of television and streaming. Visit ADC School online today to register and unlock your potential as a master visual storyteller.
It's not consistent as an artist, no matter what you're really in. But yeah, this was kind of weird because I graduated college in 2015 or so for a degree in sociology, and I was like, I don't know what I want to do.
Whoa!
Most college kids kind of are in that way. Yeah, I just went like a nice liberal arts college. Shout out to Clark University in Worcester.
Nice, nice.
Which is, I think it was perfect. It was a good balance of just like kind of understanding who you are and how to like survive in life by yourself or like be on your own for like a certain amount of time. But no, yeah, I just kind of did that, and then I was like, I don't know what to do after graduating. So I did like some internship through this state of Rhode Island and everything, which was like just like to make barely money. And I was living at home for that time too. And then one of my across the street neighbors said he was taking an animation class at RISD, Rhode Island School of Design. It was about like 15 minutes away in Providence. And he just looks like a fun summer animation course. And so I was like, oh, I'll do that too. That sounds fun. So that was kind of like, I guess, where I started with. And then my parents were like, oh, if you're like interested in this, you should pursue it and stuff. I'm like more into it. It's like, oh, okay. Just like, oh, not really sure what animation was at that point. So yeah, so I did actually some work classes up in Boston for a little bit, and then at RISD, and then kind of listened to along the way like podcasts such as this, like as I was doing it, like listen to like the folks who are working animation and kind of learn like all the facets about like all the different jobs you could have, like designing and editing and storyboarding and all that jazz.
Wow.
Yeah, that was kind of like it. So they were supportive, which was really good. So they were like, you should, like if you want to go, like, because I mentioned like going to LA and stuff and visiting, and it seemed to be like the place to be. And like 2017 or so, I went out LA for like a week or so to kind of explore the idea of being out here. I was like, oh, this is really cool. I really kind of think this could be like a good next step. There's a bunch of animation, huge animation scene here. So that was kind of it. Yeah, that was kind of it. So I moved out late 2017 and with like 2 suitcases, and that was it. I was still young enough to just kind of
right.
Yeah, it was like just like got a job at like 6 Flags for like a year or so just to save up money and survive and pay off my super cheap rent. Now I look back on it because it was more expensive now. But
a lot more, yeah.
Yeah, so they were lost. Luckily, everyone was very supportive.
So you're originally from Rhode Island? Is that like where you're originally from?
Yeah.
And that, I mean, if anybody who knows anything about the animation industry, some pretty epic things to come out of Rhode Island. I believe like Family Guy and or the creator Family Guy like came from RISD as well. Did he? Seth MacFarlane.
He was one of the. I remember one of the. I worked at a frame store for like a year before I moved out. And I remember one of the coworkers. She's very sweet and super nice, and she's like, yeah, she's like, I think like in the '90s I was up in RISD, like walking around and like had like a red hat on, like scarf and stuff. And I remember I passed by him, and I think I'm like the model for Meg and Family Guy. Like,
no,
see it now,
no way.
I don't know if that's true or not at all, but she's like, I remember wearing this and like walking by and stuff.
Right? That I mean,
if that is true, but yeah, he's from there, and that's always in Quahog, Rhode great school there too for all the animation folks. It turns out there's a lot of people too in LA who went to RISD. Like I met out here too, which is really sweet, and they keep moving out, which is fun. And I keep meeting and talking to other people who like lived in Providence and experienced that.
Yeah, there's just something different about people from the East Coast. Like again, I was born and raised in LA, so like for me, like it was always there. The industry was always like there. I never really had to like move anywhere or do anything other than just be where I needed to be. But
That's really nice. Like, I'm kind of jealous of that.
I mean, it's kind of weird to think like, oh my gosh, somebody's literally packing all their stuff, getting in, a beater car or hopping on an airplane and going, cross country, to a place they've, sometimes have never even seen before. And then suddenly like, just leaving everything they know, all their friends, all their family behind. And I just thought like, man, I mean, what incredible courage that takes to, not only follow your dream, but to also be in a place where like, there's not too many people there that you know. So I don't know. I think it just like created the people that I worked with, especially from the East Coast, just very tough people, very, very driven. Like kind of a no nonsense, like I feel like coming from LA, we're very laid back and just kind of like, oh, we'll see where things happen. But you meet someone from the East Coast and they're just like laser focused, man. Like they're just ready to get to work and, knock out a sequence. And, the Rhode Island and also Pennsylvania, I think are two of my most favorite places from the East. And Jersey too. But Pennsylvania in particular has some really, probably some of the most like interesting characters I've seen and worked with in the industry. Sean Glaze I think is one of them in particular. If you don't know his work, but very incredible and very just intense. I guess I'll just say that, a very intense style. But again, I think like now that I live in North Texas, we have snow, which I hadn't seen snow until I was an adult. So
Oh my God,
I mean, and not snow like you guys had. We're talking like less than 2 inches or something.
It was like 32 inches or something.
Yeah.
Last week.
So like, there's something about that. I think that, you guys are hunkered down for, X amount of, months out of the year. And you got, so much time to work on your, sequences and, all that sort of great stuff. But I think again, I've never actually been to, further than Pennsylvania. My wife's family's actually from there, but I do want to go visit, make a big tour of the East Coast. Like I really, really want to visit all those places and see all those things. Boston in particular, I definitely want to see at some point.
Boston's great. Yeah, Pittsburgh. Yeah, it's really nice. We can get there, and there's so much history and stuff there. It's really cool. You can take the train down to New York under in like 4 hours or so. So it's pretty easy to get down there. And New York's really cool, and that was really nice. Yeah.
We met some neighbors here. It's funny. You come to Texas, and it's people from LA and New York. Like we've all like somehow like have come here, and we met some friends on our block who are from like Albany and like New York State.
Oh wow, yeah, upstate, yeah.
Yeah, like every time like I think of New York, I'm thinking of Manhattan, the city, and they're like, show me pictures of like the most beautiful mountains and ocean, and I'm like, wait a second, like this doesn't look like the New York that I'm thinking of. Like this is completely right. I mean, again, I guess I just, never really thought like, oh my gosh, there's so much more to, these places than just, what I see in the movies and stuff. But
yeah, what's funny is I thought that way of California too, because I don't really
right.
LA and stuff, and you're like, oh, it's like more than I don't know, like half the West Coast. I'm like, oh my God, it's like drive for like 6 hours and still be.
It's a lot.
It's like insane. It's like 6 hours from Rhode Island, you'd be like almost a Marylander.
Yeah. it's a lot of people. Like I said, it's unfortunately, there's been so much. There's like so little space, and I guess living in Texas, I'm not used to how much space you have here. Like there's literally acres of land
Yeah.
in every direction. So it's like, oh my gosh, like I have to go to like certain places to feel. There's a city called McKinney that feels a lot like LA, and there's just like, just lots of infrastructure, sidewalks. That's kind of a thing that people take for granted because here in the city I live in, there's places where there's no sidewalks at all. Like you're just literally like walking on kind of dirt roads and stuff. I'm like, okay, like this is cool.
Yeah,
um,
it's such a different area. That's so cool. It's kind of fun to experience though too. Maybe yeah, like you said, kind of
oh,
cover a whole different area of the United States. Just like
again, my dad was originally from El Paso, and if
oh,
you've ever visited El Paso, I mean, it's more like Arizona. Like it's nothing like coming out here, which is almost more like a Arkansas slash kind of thing. Tornadoes is something I'd never even like thought of. That's just something you see in the movies, and to
mhm.
hear a tornado siren was just like what is happening? Like I need to jump on a plane and get back to LA right now. I'm prepared
Oh,
for
don't you
earth.
experience one? Do you have to like stay on top of or
No,
shelter?
the beat of where we are in Oklahoma, they have underground shelters where you can actually like go underground and like like the movies, you just close the shutters and you're good. Here they don't have that. There's no like you're just kind of like gonna ride it out. So I've been through I would say about three tornadoes now. Um,
Wow.
luckily nothing's destroyed or ravaged anything too badly, but yeah, you just kind of hunker down. That you there's a place in every home that essentially is the most fortified, and we have like our closet in our bedroom is not attached to any outside walls, so you just want to make sure you're not like attached to anything like any windows or
Oh,
anything.
yeah.
And it's like big enough for me, my wife, and our four dogs, so we're all like huddled in there, like it's just the weirdest thing where you find yourself in your life, but other than that, the people are just really wonderful. And anytime they ask me what I do, they're just so like excited to talk about cartoons. Tell me what their favorite cartoons are, what their favorite scenes are. Can I draw, a scene for them? There's like some local coffee shops here. I don't know about you, but anytime I got a script to work on, I never thumbnailed in the studio, like physically. I would always leave, go to a coffee shop, go to the mall, and just like on paper, just like you were saying, like legit on paper, draw. I would literally thumbnail out my whole sequence. Sometimes I'd get like half a script, like half an episode, which is pretty brutal. But I remember just sitting there and just being amongst people and hearing sounds and noises and just being so like I could just feed off of that. Um,
Mm.
and that's something I still do. Like I still love to go and hit. We have local coffee shops and stuff, and I mean it's like a magnet. If you're drawing and somebody sees it, I mean, it's not like they're coming next to you and introducing themselves. They get like this close to you, and I'm just like, oh hey, how's it going? Nice to meet you.
That's
Like,
yeah, it's just fun. You don't normally see people doing that
right?
in the open, which I guess yeah, it's kind of almost like yeah, the only time you see that would be like some kid drawing at a restaurant or like on a menu or something. Yeah.
It's just so, and especially out
Um,
here, people are like, wait, you could do that as a living? And honestly, like being from California, you think everybody from California has like Hollywood's right there, exact. Where I was from in California, there was really no animation industry. I mean, I was on the outskirts of, the South Bay. So like Redondo Beach, Long Beach, like an area that's
oh,
known for like the docks. Like that was the big job. You're gonna work like on
yeah.
the docks, and pretty much that was gonna be, if you weren't going to college, that was like the thing you were gonna do. So here I come along like, hey, like I want to draw. I want to do something drawing wise. Everyone's like, wait a second, man. Like, I don't know about all that. Like, is that even,
Yeah.
is that even a thing? I'm like, well, I mean, all the stuff gets produced here. I'm sure it's somewhere, but I just didn't quite know how to get there. Like, I had never seen downtown Burbank growing up, never, until I actually started
Oh
working
yeah.
in the industry. I had never even like really been to the valley, if you can believe that. Like, never.
Oh yeah.
And then
It's so
suddenly,
funny because it's what, like maybe 30 miles away from you or something.
it was
Like that.
like a good 25 miles, maybe about 30. I think you're right, actually. I think it was about that because um, I remember the last 4 years before the slowdown. I had totally stopped commuting. I had used exclusively the metro, the commuter bus, and
Oh, nice.
an e-bike, and I had like completely stopped using my car. And that's kind of a funny thing out here where I live. There is no public transportation whatsoever. There's not a bus. There's not like anything. Like you don't have access to Uber or Lyft. I mean, you're done.
Oh,
Um,
geez. That
yeah,
is funny. Yeah.
you really need a
Yeah.
car, out here. But it again, like I said, as like the industry stuff unfolds, I think it's just great, like I said, to try different things. Like, so in terms of like Nickelodeon, like you had done, I want to say, like, was it 4 years straight on Loud House, or 3 years straight?
Yeah, it was an unusual and very lucky amount. Yeah, during the pandemic, it was because we just wrapped up November, so yeah, it was like over 5 years or so,
Oh my
which is
gosh, five
kind of like
years.
really lucky and kind of insane,
Wow.
and unheard of too. But yeah, it's like a lot like SpongeBob and The Simpsons and like Family Guy were like on that
Wow.
level. But yeah, and it was like relatively the same people too working on it, which is better too. But yeah, we got really lucky. So yeah, it's kind of been like a hiatus moment now. So we'll see what happens in the future. But yeah, we got really lucky. Yeah, 'cause it was like such a strange time during then too, because they were making a bunch of animation stuff from like the pandemic, as you know, and then it kind of slowed down the past couple of years, but it's kind of still going. I don't know, but it's interesting too. So now seems like there's this wave of like Kickstarter and
Hmm.
crowd funded projects going on, and so much stuff on YouTube too. That if you like make something that like really resonates with people, you could get like the money or the funding to make it actually like happen and or happen to a degree of like make produce on a bigger budget, which is really cool to
Wow.
think and see about. So there's like so I feel there's so much on YouTube now. Anyway, derailing the conversation,
No,
that's
no,
like that
please.
just like exists with like millions of views. I'm like, this is so cool. Like, how did I miss this? There's so much content now. So it's maybe better in a way because you can kind of get go around the studios and not have to worry about all that finagling and stuff and make your own stuff with like no strings attached, which is nice.
Right, right. I tell this story a lot, and I like when I first got in my actual like first year in animation, 1999, which is a long time ago, but still, I was uh, every day after work, after I'd finish a full day of storyboard revisions. Um, I wouldn't leave. I would stay at the studio, and I'd go and make friends with as many departments as I could, from character designers, prop artists, background art, like editorial. I mean, I loved everybody. Like the night security guy, like this was like my new home, So I would walk around to all these artists. A lot of them had been in the eras of like Ninja Turtles, like worked on Transformer. I mean, all the stuff I grew up on as a kid. Batman the animated series.
Oh, yeah, it'd be so cool. Yeah, there's so many people that work on like all your childhood. It's really funny.
Oh my gosh. I mean, that was the biggest kicker, but I remember I would always ask them. I said, like, if there's one thing you wanted to do career wise that you didn't do, like, what was it? And it was always the same answer. I wish I had done something for myself. And
Oh, interesting.
I thought to myself, and this was again, like I said, nowhere near, slowdowns or anything like that. Like, I felt like in a way, they were kind of like telling the future in a way, because they're like, all of them had, tremendously successful careers, worked on, numerous things, but that almost like why would you even need to do that? You're sort of like almost like the era of the 1930s where you're an actor and the studio's everything. The studio provides your next movie. The studio provides, everything for you. So what's the
Right.
incentive to go out there and actually like take a chance and, risk, failure and risk, all the things that come along with being a show creator. Um, until the actual industry itself switches and it's like, okay, well, this is now a viable option. This is now like what people are looking for. And like you're saying, you're discovering probably talent and people all over the place who probably would never have done something original or believed in their own original idea. Again, I direct everybody, to go check out your, gosh, I want to say Cookie Crush. Is that did I say that one right? The
Oh, crash.
Cookie Crash. Sorry, pardon me,
Yeah,
but
no, you're good.
like things like that, I just find are so fantastic because obviously people can look at your work and say, hey, clearly this guy is amazing and he's doing stuff on major things that I've seen. But it's also kind of exciting to see your own ideas and your own way of like taking all this wonderful skill set that you've acquired and worked very hard for and put it toward your own ideas and your own concepts. I have a lot of people again coming out of colleges. A lot of them are graduating this year. What advice do you have to give to them, the people who are entering this new job market or entering this industry for the first time? Um, do you have anything you could say to them? Any advice you could give them?
Ooh, yeah.
I'm
Yeah, I mean, it's always
gonna
it's
shut my
always
mic off
interesting.
here.
No,
Preach,
you're
brother,
good.
preach.
No, no, I feel like it's interesting because it's always like a different. Like whenever, like at least when I was graduating stuff, it was like I feel like everyone says this, but it's always like the move to LA stuff, and then like you get a job and stuff and start your career. Right now, it's like you don't necessarily have to move out to LA. You can kind of start your career wherever you are, or wherever's like convenient for you in a way, which is kind of nice. But yeah, I think it's always that like make your own thing, which kind of gets I feel to be like tiresome to hear or I don't know, I can't think of the word. But it's like everyone always says it's kind of like a broken record. But I feel it's like really true because if you're unless you're like working or have like a full time job and stuff straight out of college, which is a really good deal, but doesn't usually happen to a lot of people. So it's really hard to do. I feel like at least like making your own stuff then is good because then you keep kind of progressing and like finding your own like artistic like vision or like artistic kind of just like your voice and figure out like what you want to do, what you want to work on, and then I think like by you doing that and doing your own stuff, you then kind of highlight and showcase people like this is like what I want to do. Like for example, this is what I want to do. Like look at this. Like this is really what I'm interested in stuff, and then people will kind of take more notice of that. I feel it's really good if you're working on it every day and stuff, and that kind of I feel is a good way to get yourself if you're a foot in the door because you really can't. It's really hard to get bad or worse at something that you keep doing unless you're well, it's just really hard to do because so you just keep getting better and better. So the more you make your own stuff, the more you make of your own stuff, the more kind of like honed you get in your craft. So it's kind of like really with anything with like sport, or like athletes, or if you're like a writer, or really with anything. Like the more you keep doing your own thing, the better that thing's going to be, and the better you can keep shaping it and like get really good. And usually, I feel like that's enough to get and match with like a studio or some show or some project that's hiring like your specific field that you want to get into. I feel there's always something. There's always like a niche for everyone. Like there's always someone's always interested in something else that someone's making. Like there might not be like everyone, but there's always like an audience for everything. I guess is a good way to say. There's like I listened to this comics podcast, and they kind of mentioned the same thing about how like don't do if you're doing your own project, like don't do something because it's like popular. Like if it's like if that like that heated rivalry is like hockey show that's going on now.
Mm.
It's hugely like exploded in popularity. Like if you want to do like your own work or your own like comic or your own animation thing on ice hockey, but it's like really really popular and everything, and that's like great. But if you don't have if your heart's not in it, it's not really going to be good. And even though there's like a big audience for it, if it's not, if you don't put the really, if you don't enjoy it, the audience isn't going to enjoy it. So
Wow.
long story short, I feel like if you just do your own thing, and then that'll get you like I feel like it's a good chunk of experience in terms of like honing your craft and your voice, and that should most likely get you like your first position, whether it's with like a studio or with like a smaller studio or indie or some type of project that kind of gets your foot in the door and you're like off and running.
Nice. I mean, again, like just looking at your own career, how you started off doing freelance, taking positions as they came and continue to just hone your skills, hone your craft. And then, and I mean, again, testing 3 times for, the Loud House. I mean, that's got to be a brutal process. So, I mean, your New York grit was just at an all-time high. Like I said, I don't know anybody who would like, go 3 times and still be like, all right, I'm ready for more, man. Bring it on.
It's funny, yeah, I know people test as much, but I guess it keeps getting you, determined. I think the first time, because it was like super new, but like each time you keep doing it, it gets better and better. I feel about tests.
It's incredible to think like rejection and those type of things really have no effect on you. Like you're just can see your goal, you can see like what you want to achieve, and like someone telling you no isn't like no forever. It's just no for right this second. And
That's a
maybe
good point. Yeah,
maybe there was somebody who was just a little more seasoned, or but your determination is absolutely like the most powerful tool you have. I think like the fact that you can draw and you can tell stories is just one dimension to your character. I think your fortitude and the fact that like you're absolutely gonna get there at all costs is just. I think that like I've been on the side too where I've hired people as well, and a person like that, I mean, is like having 10 people, because they're going to put their heart and soul into something and give you something that honestly, like, is probably going to be worth even more than you can afford to pay them. And I thought it was like also interesting how you were saying how your parents were like, hey, like the industry you're going into, it's probably not gonna, make you a ton of cash. It's probably not gonna make you, super famous or anything like that. But there's a love to this. There's a passion to this that just burns within us. And whether you,
sure, yeah.
whether you're working or whether you're in between jobs, doesn't really stop it. I mean, it continues to burn within us. And I have a lot of friends who like, are in different careers and had never done anything, quote unquote, that they ever loved in their life. They're like, work's not something you love, work's something you just have to do. And they
Yeah.
always were like, my gosh, like it's interesting that there's something burning inside you that you have to just do. And other than just like fill up your bank account or any of those type of things, there's some things that are just worth a little bit more than money. And I feel like animation and storyboarding and storytelling, there's a certain little bit of a payment within that you're, again, I hate to say this because if anyone ever finds out, it's really bad for us. You'd almost do it for free, in a weird way. I don't want to put any words in your mouth, but
No, it's true. Yeah, you can't not you can't not do it.
yeah, yeah. So again,
It's
like,
funny, yeah.
oh, go ahead. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off while I was.
Oh no, no, you're good. No, I think that's fair. Yeah, it's like anything people are passionate about. Yeah,
Yeah, I think like
with anything, a hobby or anything. Yeah,
yeah,
it's
and
kind of funny too. Yeah, because it overlaps. Oh, sorry.
yeah, I was saying the hobby that turned into a borderline obsession, I think, for some of us, and myself included. I think like my superpower, and you tell me if you feel the same way. Like my superpower is stubbornness. I just like if I want to draw something or if I want to see something from myself, creatively, like I will not stop until I do it. I will not quit. Even from like pain of like creative death, where I'm like, oh my gosh, I've probably drawn this 20 plus times, but I don't care how long it takes me. Like I will achieve my goal. I don't know if you share that
No,
kind
that's a
of
good trait.
obsessive, you know.
No, that's a really good trait to have. I feel yeah, 'cause then you keep pushing yourself. I feel like I don't know if I have that. I feel like I'd rage quit before. Like, if something doesn't work, I get frustrated. But but that's good to have you for animations. It keeps you pushing forward and trying to get what you see in your head on the metaphorical paper.
hmm Absolutely. Well, before we go, where can people find you? I know there are several social media spots, but if someone wants to hire you, can they go to like your Instagram, or can like where can people find you?
Oh, they can go to all those things. They can go to Instagram, LinkedIn. They go to that. Anyway, Blue Sky too. I should post more on Blue Sky. But not that. No, yeah, yeah, no. Instagram for on Instagram, yeah, it's M Alley Art, Alley Art, um, and that's my tag on Instagram. Also for Blue Sky and for all I'm leaving my Twitter a while ago, so I'm not Twitter anymore. But yeah, for Instagram too, yes, Alley Art is always what I've gone by. Again, LinkedIn just under my name if you want. I'm still learning how to use it, but it's everyone it feels
Yeah, it's become sort of like the
so bad.
dominating, at least for
I know,
me.
and when the people only use it if they need to find it.
Yeah, like LinkedIn
Yeah, so that.
LinkedIn was kind of like a joke kind of website to me, initially, and everyone's like, "We got to be on it. You have to be on LinkedIn." I'm just like, okay, and I went on it, and I was like, "Oh man, this is like really ugly. Like, what an ugly website. Like, I just don't really like it." And it just looks so boring, and just like, oh, like people's resumes, like this is like a thing, like okay. And then suddenly it just took over everything for me. Like it's the whole reason I'm even
Oh
doing
yeah.
this podcast is because of LinkedIn, which is so bizarre. Um,
No, that's great. Yeah, it's definitely. I mean, it is definitely a really cool way to explore and find new people too. I guess now. Yeah, it's kind of opposite of Instagram. You can
right.
instead of you still see their artwork, but now you see like all their personal information,
Yeah.
like their school and all their jobs and everything. And
Their phone
it,
number. I'm just like, get your phone
yeah,
number
it's
off off
oh, you
LinkedIn.
don't put your oh, that's good. But speaking of which, I also have my yeah. So you can go Mally Art MALLEY Art, but then also my website at knack.org, which is the main hub, which I'll actually be posting. I'm working on a comic right now, hopefully looking to release soon, so it'll be obtainable through the website. So
Oh,
that's in the works. So
that was my
you
next
know,
question. Like, what are you working on now that people can, purchase, or, are you, did you ever click up on anything like Patreon or like any of those like Kofi or Coffee, or trying to remember
I never got behind it. I follow people on Patreon, but yeah, I feel it's interesting. It's a good yeah. It's definitely the place to be now in terms of personal project. They always say there's really good advice someone said, which is regarding those things. If someone's going to set one up, they always said it's called crowdfunding because first comes the crowd and then comes the funding.
that.
You build the audience and then you get
Then.
the motivation after that. But I don't know. I feel like I jump into it too fast and then be disappointed when something doesn't happen.
Right?
But yeah,
No, I think definitely, like I said, now that you're jumping into your own ventures and continuing to do studio work as it comes in, um, nothing ever hurts to diversify, and to try lots of different things, and continue to be creative. For me personally, like I spend a lot of time watching my 2-year-old in the daytime, and my wife, works the daytime, but nighttime is mine. I nighttime is like anything goes. So I'm like doing podcasts, I'm doing, personal project. I mean, I'm throwing everything like into the mix, so it's interesting. Like I said, I was initially very scared when, everything was slowing down, and I'm like, oh my gosh, this is just totally gonna like change my life. But sometimes, change is a good thing, and I really hope and pray that it continues to be hopefully a very positive thing, and brings the voices of a lot of artists to light that maybe wouldn't have done it before. But very excited. I will, by the way, put all of your links into the video, like as clickable things too. So sorry to put you on the spot for.
That's good. No, that's good. That on the my first and only podcast. That's good to know.
Oh, no way, man. People are gonna see this and they're just gonna jump all over me. Like, we got to get this guy as a guest because this is
We'll see. Well, you can go through my agent, which I don't have.
Yeah. Very nice. Well, Max, thank you so much for being a part of the podcast, buddy. I hope I can click up with you the next time I'm in LA.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, the pleasure's all mine, man. And again, a huge fan of your work. Love everything you're doing.
Oh, likewise.
Absolutely, buddy. And hopefully we can click up soon next time I'm in LA. So.
No, for sure. That'd be fine. No, yeah, since 2019, but maybe not actually, because all the class would have been virtual. So
oh yeah,
it hasn't been. I don't know when it's been.
It's been a few years, Or if you're ever in Texas, please.
I do have a friend in Austin. I need to visit him.
Please, anytime, man.
I don't know how close that is. I don't know if that's probably super far.
Yeah, it's a bit further, but we're not as fun as Austin. I will say that,
Oh.
All right, buddy. We have a wonderful evening, and we'll definitely be talking soon, my friend.
Awesome. No, you too. Thank you so much.
No problem, buddy. Have a good night. Bye.